we recording?
Yep.
Real quick though, before we go, I need to. Sound. We got sound going, dude? Just real quick though, dude.
Okay, dude. Oh. No. I'm kidding.
It's off the tracks. It's Jhett. It's Rafe. We're back. A lot of content coming your way. As you can see, we're back here today.
We are.
We've got some fun stuff here today for us. Doing the NBA trade deadline just happened. Did it close Thursday? Yesterday?
Yeah, Thursday. It closed Thursday at 2 o'clock our time.
Central Time. A lot of interesting moves, and I really want to talk about a few of them here.
It was a fun one.
I think it was one of the better ones that we've ever seen.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think because there wasn't really a lot of rumors. I wasn't expecting too much to happen this trade deadline, but a lot happened.
I think a lot was because last year. I'm not saying last year's was bad, but last year's all kind of came in like the last 30 minutes.
Right.
Like this one was kind of throughout the day and even the days leading up. So we had a couple of things that weren't trade related. And that was obviously Lowry not getting traded. I guess that's trade later, but Lowry not getting traded.
Yeah.
And LaMarcus Aldridge with a buyout.
Also, Drummond just got a buyout today, I think.
Drummond also got the buyout with the Cavaliers. So it's rumored right now that Aldridge is going to go to Miami.
Miami had a day.
They got Oladipo. And, not only did they get Oladipo, but they didn't give up Tyler Hero.
Right.
And I feel like the package that they gave up was pretty solid, because they got Bielitsa, did they not? I believe they got Bielitsa and trade away Kelly Olynyk, so they kind of just swapped players.
Right. I know they gave up Olynyk.
Yeah, but I really liked what the Heat was doing. What the Heat were doing.
They were doing something.
Picking up Aldridge, as it stands right now, they were going to pick up Aldridge. As well as Victor Oladipo. And if you can see Oladipo get back to his 2018 Pacer form, 2017-2018 Pacer form,
right?
That team is deadly. The Mavericks, and this was one I kind of missed. I saw JJ Redick get traded, but I didn't really check on it and see what it all was. But he's going to Dallas.
Correct. It's Dallas is a playoff team. Obviously, it's something you kind of see a lot of playoff teams do each year. Get a veteran guy that can spread the floor. I mean, that's pretty much the meta now. Whenever you talk about NBA trade deadlines, there's always going to be some playoff team that needs somebody that can spread the floor a little bit. JJ Redick's one of the best.
Right. And I like that. I like JJ Redick. I like him as a player. Big fan. The Hawks-Clippers trade is interesting today. Now, it was obviously interesting when it went down, but I don't know if you saw it. Lou Williams is considering retirement.
He was. I think he's now going to stay. He said that he has a lot left in the tank, but yeah, once he got traded, he was considering retirement there for.
Lou Will is going from the Los Angeles Clippers to the Atlanta Hawks for Rajon Rondo.
Right.
I think a pick was involved. Who did the pick go to?
It's probably on here somewhere.
Yeah, there was a pick involved with someone, either the Hawks or Clippers were getting. I think it was a second-round pick, maybe 2 second-round picks, or maybe it was just a second-round pick. I don't know. But I think Rondo in Los Angeles with the Clippers.
The Hawks got the 2 second rounds.
It was 2 second-rounders. I think Rondo going to the Clippers, it's interesting to me, because I feel like that's something that they really needed, someone that can get the ball to Paul George and get the ball to Kawhi,
Yeah, they've been looking for this for a while now. There was rumors of George Hill possibly going there earlier in the season. Rondo, obviously one of the best. Saw what he did for the Lakers last year. They ended up winning a championship.
Right.
Obviously, Rondo's not the reason, but it's a piece, and it's something that the Clippers have been looking for, and they needed. They needed a ball handler and a distributor.
I'm seeing, we talked about Drummond. Drummond to the Knicks potentially.
Yeah.
That was what I was reading a couple of days ago. I don't know, man. That could be
big for the Knicks.
That could be huge for the Knicks. Knicks are looking solid still this late in the year.
Julius Randle is having
I
an
love Julius Randle.
unreal year.
I've always been a fan of Julius Randle, and I always thought that he was. I always thought that the Lakers messed up in getting rid of him, and I've always thought that, and I've always felt that.
Right.
And now it's really showing this year. Now you're gonna add. You got Emmanuel Quickly there, rookie, playing great basketball as a rookie. Now you're gonna bring in potentially Andre Drummond.
Yeah, that would be big for them.
That would be very big, and I think, I don't think the Knicks will win a championship this year, and I don't think there's anyone that's going to argue that. But I think, bringing that in, it's kind of setting up for the future.
Right, because you think about it, even when the Knicks were bad, it was still a
promising team.
Yeah, it was an attractive location for free agents, big name free agents, even when they were bad because it's New York,
right.
Big market. Now, okay, they're good. They got Julius Randle, potentially making the playoffs this year. Now it's even more attractive. And now I think, there was rumors of Kevin Durant signing there a while back. Now, there's a way better chance of getting the top tier free agents.
Right. I'm really excited for that Knicks team. I think they could be solid. And you talk about George Hill as well, and you see him go on the move to Philadelphia.
Right.
I'm curious how you feel about that because I'm not so sure about it. I'm not so sure how we're going to see Ben Simmons potentially moving from the point guard position if you see George Hill move into the starting rotation, which I think he will. I think George Hill is having a pretty solid year this year.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued on how you feel about that deal particularly.
I don't know, because I didn't really see a hole in the 76ers. They were playing unbelievable basketball. They were first in the league there for a little bit. I don't think it'll hurt them any, though. It'll be interesting to see how they shift the lineup a little bit.
Right.
Looking at the other side of things, the Thunder pick up their 34th draft pick.
That's nuts,
I'm
man.
pretty excited about that. But George Hill, he was hurt there for a little bit. It's been a while since he's played a game for the Thunder. I don't know if he's still hurt or recovering or whatever. But yeah, just by the way he's playing, just another veteran guy, spread the floor a little bit, but more of a playmaker. I don't think it'll hurt him any.
And the 76ers, they didn't even give anything up, really. And they gave up picks. Was Tony Bradley there in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Tony Bradley out there
he goes to Thunder,
he's
right?
going to the Thunder, as well
so
as
does
Austin Rivers and 2025, 2026 second-round picks.
And then Terrence Ferguson was drafted, but he couldn't go to the Thunder because the Thunder just traded him to the 76ers, so he's going
to the Knicks.
Yeah, that's why they had to make it a 3-team deal there.
Right. Confusing stuff. That
it was
over my head.
A lot of confusing stuff, but I don't know exactly the reason why Terrence Ferguson couldn't go back to the Thunder. I'm assuming it's because they just traded him away. I didn't know that was a rule, but he had to go to the Knicks.
So you as a Thunder fan, you say you love having those picks. Yeah. How are you feeling about that, bringing in? Obviously you guys aren't competing for a championship this year, but potentially, is Austin Rivers and Tony Bradley going to be on the roster 4 years from now? Probably not. But
probably not. Yeah, it's honestly probably just trying to get the contracts to work, trying to get money worked out. Austin Rivers could be a good piece for a playoff team. Obviously, the Thunder not a playoff team. I don't know. Tony Bradley is his name, right?
Yep.
I don't know much about him, to be honest. He's a big guy. I know Joel Embiid has spoken highly of him. He thinks he can be pretty good. So he could be a piece that stays around. The Thunder also have another big guy, Moses Brown, who I like a lot. He's like 7'1". He's been having some pretty good games. But
big fan of that dude, Lou Dort. You know it. I love that Dort. Man, Lou Dort. We're gonna have 3 in a row here from Orlando, getting rid of their probably 3 best players: Evan Fournier, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Vucevic.
Aaron Gordon, I think everybody kind of saw coming. He requested a trade.
Right. I didn't see Vucevic coming.
Yeah, I did not see them moving him. Although I do think it makes sense.
I do as well.
Orlando, maybe a playoff team. Obviously, nowhere close to a contender. They've been they've had Vucevic there for a while. I think it's time for them to go full rebuild, and they are.
But the thing about that is they're not. They've got Jonathan Isaac. They've got
Right. Well,
they've got young guys that I feel like are ready to play. I'm a
Right.
big Markelle Fultz fan. I love Markelle Fultz. I think that he had a bad situation in Philadelphia.
right.
I think they screwed him up entirely because you watch him play in college, and he was nuts, and he's number 1 overall pick in the draft. Easy. I think he will be. And you watched him play at the beginning of the year before he got hurt, and you watched that Magic team at the beginning of the year before he got hurt. And Terrence Ross, who's still there, was playing fantastic basketball. And I think that this team, Jonathan Isaac, you got Mo Bamba, all this haul. R.J. Hampton went there. I mean, you got this haul of guys. Cole Anthony's still there that are going to be there. And I think I'm intrigued with this Orlando team.
They have, they have the young core there. It's kind of similar to the Thunder situation. They have the young guys that they can build around for the next few years. That's kind of what I mean by, I guess not. I didn't mean full rebuild. They're not blowing the whole thing up, but you've got these young guys you can build around. Now you just got to get the pieces and build that for the next few years. I think, yeah.
But with the Magic and what they gave up, what about the teams that they gave things up to? You look at Denver, who picked up Aaron Gordon. Not only do they pick up Aaron Gordon, they also pick up JaVale McGee.
Right.
That's intriguing to me. I think Aaron Gordon's a great player. I think that Denver team with Jokic, Jamal Murray there, they gave up Gary Harris in the deal. He's going to Orlando. I think the Denver team looks really good.
I mean, Jokic is crazy good. The Nuggets have made the playoffs consistently the last few years, just not a championship
push, man.
Right. Does Aaron Gordon give them that? I don't think so, but it's a good start. Anymore to win a championship, it sucks, but you see Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin all on the same team, LeBron James, Anthony Davis.
Now you're looking at the Heat potentially having LaMarcus Aldridge, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo.
As unfortunate as it is, but
it's not about really depth anymore.
Yeah, it's getting as many stars as you can.
And that's what Denver did. They went away. They said, you know what, let's get away from except for bringing in JaVale McGee. I feel like that was more of a depth move.
Yeah.
To just bring in a backup center, which I really did like. But I really think that for Denver, I think that was one of the trades between Denver and Orlando for Aaron Gordon. I feel like that both teams won that trade because obviously R.J. Hampton, he's going to be great for the future. Aaron Gordon's going to be great for Denver. Yeah. It was just kind of a win-win trade, I feel like. And hopefully Denver and Orlando can both go off of this. I really think Orlando will go off of this very well in the future. The Celtics, this is interesting, me picking up Evan Fournier. And I think Fournier is going to do really well in Boston. I don't like the Celtics. Not as a team. I don't like this team when it comes to picking who's going to win the NBA Finals and who's going to contend in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you can take my word for that, and we can look. They could be in the finals here in a few months, and we can look back on this video and say, you know what, Jett, you're wrong, and that's fine. I'll take that. I just don't like the Celtics, and I don't think I like the Celtics in a 7-game series.
Yeah, well, I mean, all you have to do is really look at the past few years. Look at their history the past few years in the playoffs. It's another one of those teams. They'll consistently make the playoffs. They're very good in the regular season, but for some reason, they'll get to the conference finals and fall apart. Haven't they even been in the finals?
No.
The past 2 years?
No.
I didn't think so. So
my key issue is this, and I look at this and I think, you know what, something's wrong in Boston. You look at Kyrie Irving, who comes in from Cleveland, who was an all-star, playing amazing, comes into Boston, and all of a sudden he's hogwash and he's not that great. And he goes to Brooklyn and he's playing like an MVP. Mm-hmm. You see Kemba Walker come from Charlotte, an all-star, playing amazing basketball. He comes into Boston. He's not all that great. You see Terry Rozier. You see flashes in Boston. He goes to Charlotte, and now you're looking at him like, okay, that's a starting point guard in the NBA. And it's just, you see all that kind of add up over time, and you're like, well, now wait a minute here. This is the system. Something's wrong in Boston.
There's something there. don't know what it is, but
And are we
yeah.
going to see this with Fournier? You know, Fournier's not having a bad year. I think he might start. Maybe not, but I think he might.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think you might see him maybe potentially have a fall off, and they move Fournier here in the coming years, and he goes somewhere else and does well. Eastern Conference foe, Chicago Bulls pick up Vucevic. I don't get this one.
That was strange to me because right now I believe the Bulls are sitting at the 10 seed or somewhere around there. So they're on the outside looking in, but they're not too far away. It's just a few games. I am very surprised that they're trying, because it feels like they're trying to make the playoffs, especially when you get a guy like Vucevic and they have Zach LaVine. You know, they have the pieces to be a playoff team, but I am surprised that they're making the push for the playoffs this early. I still feel, they've got young guys, you know, that they can develop still, but I don't know.
They gave up Wendell Carter Jr. in the deal.
They did give up a lot.
That blew my mind. I was like, they're a team that is on the cusp of being a solid team. They were the 10 seed with all that, building future draft picks, whatever, brought in a new coach.
Right.
I really thought that this Bulls team had potential to kind of make a push in the next few years of being a decent team. But now I know you've got Vucevic, I know you've got LaVine, but there was talks about Markkanen getting traded.
Yeah, that surprised me.
You got rid of Otto Porter. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm thinking here on this trade for the Bulls. I don't think it made sense for the Bulls. Now, the Magic, you bring in Wendell Carter Jr., who's yet another young piece for the future, who's NBA ready. You know, it's not like you're bringing in a rookie who's, kind of like R.J. Hampton, who I feel like still needs a little bit more development till he can be a go-to guy and a reliable guy. But I feel like Wendell Carter Jr. is the kind of guy for Orlando that's going to fit well. And I think the haul that Orlando pulled from the trade deadline was outstanding. I don't think that they could have asked. I think they got some draft picks as well.
Yeah.
So, I'm really liking Orlando. I'm really curious to see, 5 years from now, what that's going to look like.
I believe they got 2 firsts in that Vucevic deal. Man. Orlando did, I'm pretty sure. Which, I was thinking about that. The first, they'll probably be, because, you look at the Bulls the next few years. I don't know what years the firsts are, but they'll probably be around where they're at right now. They may make the playoffs, but they'll be a lower seed. You're looking at middle of the road, middle pick in that first round. Now, obviously, that could still be, so it's still 2 first-round picks.
Another trade that I don't think made sense to me was the Norman Powell trade. Trying to find the exact deal because I know that Gary Trent, and someone else, Rodney Hood. You're gonna see Gary Trent, Rodney Hood go to Toronto. Gary Trent's young.
Yeah.
And he's still got potential. Norman Powell, I believe he's 27, 29, 27. He's averaging 20 a game this year. He's shooting well. And Norman Powell is having a great year.
I like this for the Trailblazers a lot.
But I don't know where he's going to fit in unless you move McCollum to the 3.
I don't really think that's an issue anymore, to be honest.
I know, but still,
it'll be they'll run smaller, especially if they have him, Dame, and McCollum out there at the same time. But this is Rodney Hood. It's not much. Gary Trent Jr., young guy. He has a lot of potential there. I like Gary Trent Jr. But Norman Powell, as you said, he's playing tremendous this year. He's like 3rd in overall 3-point percentage out of guys.
He's shooting 43.5% from beyond the arc.
Right.
So
and that's like 3rd out of guys who have shot at least 200 threes. So obviously, Trailblazers is a playoff team. Again, it's a common theme here. It doesn't make them a championship contender necessarily. Maybe it does. I don't know. I think the Trailblazers are close, especially. Damian Lillard.
Right. Damian Lillard is just
if you got Damian Lillard on your team, you've got a chance.
Correct.
But I really like this for the Trailblazers. I think they got a lot better with this.
I think they did. It just, I think seeing where CJ McCollum's come back from injury, seeing where Norman Powell's going to fit in.
Right. I think that's the biggest issue here.
Yeah, that was a confusion for me. Toronto, I think you're going to see Kyle Lowry potentially moved in the offseason maybe.
Yeah, he'll be a free agent after this year.
Right.
So I would assume that he signs elsewhere. Where that will be, I don't know. But yeah, I would not.
Let's try and make some predictions as to where he
I would not bet that he. Man, well.
Could you imagine?
I don't know the cap space, but the Lakers
That's
were
what I was
rumored
thinking.
to trade for him. Obviously,
And then they were
dump salary, but
Talon
we'll
Horton
see.
Tucker was involved in a potential deal,
Right.
and they said no, we're not doing that. Could you? I think that the Lakers will probably sign him. I mean,
I would say right now
the
the Lakers are the
who's their point guard?
early favorite. Who is their point guard?
It's not Caruso.
That's
Is it?
hilarious.
Caruso's not starting, is it?
I don't think so.
Because it was.
Let's find out.
I don't know. I think that Kyle Lowry will probably go to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, I mean,
So you're thinking any other team that has amount of cap? I mean, unless he
oh,
goes
it's Schroeder. That's right.
Yeah.
Schroeder.
unless you see maybe him go to like New York.
Possibly, that's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, obviously he'll want to go to a contender. He's getting late in his career.
Right.
He's already won a championship, but why not win another one? Yeah, he'd have to go to a contender, I feel like. And right now, I'd say the Lakers are the favorite for that. That's looking way ahead, though.
Right.
Who knows what happens?
Right. So who would you say? Who would you say won? Who would you say are some winners and losers here from the trade deadline?
Obviously, I think the Heat are a winner.
Right.
Obviously, pick up Oladipo. That could be that has championship implications there. That's probably the only move that I see that really has potential to swift to what's the word I'm looking
Take
for?
a team from
Shift.
Yeah.
Shift. The finals picture, I guess, is what I was looking for. I would say that I like the Trailblazers move. Orlando, in the sense that they're really set up for the coming years.
Right. I love it.
There's some little things like the Mavericks picking up Redick. I don't really see any like huge losers this year.
A huge loser for me. I'm thinking the Raptors, man.
Yeah.
They're not looking great for the future. They're not looking great for now. I mean, you got Spicy P. But other than Pascal Siakam, I think Kyle Lowry will be gone after. And if you got Fred VanVleet.
Right.
But Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam are not going to win you a championship. And if you even give Kyle Lowry a big contract extension this year, those three are not going to win you a championship.
Right.
So, I think that kind of sucks. I would have liked to have seen Kyle Lowry moved just to see the Raptors kind of bring a haul in for him and potentially rebuild.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird saying that after they just won a title 2 years ago.
It is strange.
But
they tried to move him. They created space and everything to bring on extra players and a deal. Just couldn't get anything done.
That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, unfortunately for the franchise, for fans, they're gonna have to see him probably more than likely walk and not get anything in return for him.
I think for me another big winner for me is the Pacers. They didn't do anything, and that was exactly what I wanted him to do.
That's what you needed him to do.
I didn't want him to move Sabonis. I didn't want him to see him move Brogdon. I didn't want to see him move anyone. So I'm happy that
there was talks of them potentially moving Brogdon, or at least like looking to move him, which kind of shocked me. Kind of threw me off.
I think what they were doing was just kind of being like, all right, we don't look to move him. He's not on the trade block, but we're just going to take calls
just
on
in case or something.
Yeah, I think the only guy that was 100% not going to get traded was Karis LeVert. I think that was the only guy that was no shot getting traded.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like if you call them and you gave them the right deal, I feel like they could have gotten a pretty good haul for Sabonis and Brogdon. I didn't want to trade him, but I feel like they could have gotten a pretty good haul. We're going to prom together. The Flow Bros, Bearded Bros, Steal Your Hose. You already know. It's off the tracks. Peace.